everyone. Greetings of the day. Welcome back to Sneha Ghode Programming YouTube channel. Our today's topic of discussion in this C language playlist is data types and variables in C programming language. So this is a very basic thing. If you are able to understand data types like void, character, integer, float, double in the C language, so it will be helpful for you to understand the other languages also, like Java language, Python language, and many more. So this is a basic building or basic base of the programming language. Okay, so let's start. Data types. Okay, what is the meaning of data and what is the meaning of type? Okay, so this data type word itself going to describe it. That is, data types means which type of data it is. Okay, whatever the data we are storing in our memory location, so which type of data we are going to store? Is it an integer type of data? Is it a character type of data? Is it a float type of data, or is it a double type of data? And one more thing, that is void. Void means nothing, means we are not going, it is not going to describe any of the data type. So void means basically nothing. Okay, we'll take an example. For example, if we are talking about the mobile number. Okay, so the mobile number is completely made up of integer values. Okay, so integer values is gonna define in between 0 to 9. Okay, any of the number which is made up of 0 and 0 to 9 numbers, okay, and which does not contain any of the decimal point, okay, means it comes under the integer data type. Okay, so simply we can say that any number which does, any natural number which does not contain the decimal point, so we are going to call it as an integer type of data. Okay, then next will be a float. So what is this float? Okay, so here opposite of the integer, if any of the data contains the decimal in the number, then we are going to call it as a float variable, float data type. Okay, for example, your percentage is like 81.76. okay, so after that 0.76, okay, 2 digits, right? So we are going to call it is a float type of data, right? Then double is also the same definition of float. Here only the difference is of memory allocation. Okay, we'll come to that point. Then after that we are having character. Okay, now we know that char means character. Okay, so it is a combination of the alphabets. Character, for example, your name, so your name is made up of characters. Okay, A to Z, combination of A to Z. Like my name is Sneha, so the Sneha is going to be stored in the character data type. Okay, so these are the things, right? Okay, so hope you are able to understand what are the data types. So basically we are having the 4 main data types. First is character, integer, then float, double, and void. Void we are going to call it as a keyword, and yes, character, integer, float, double, these are also the keywords. Okay, so let's have a look. Data types. Now this data types is getting differentiated into the 2 types. So first one is a primitive data type and second one is non-primitive data type. Okay, so primitive data type means which is created at the time of creation of the language. Okay, for example, if we are taking an example of the English language, okay, so the English language is having some primitive things which is built up at the time of creating the English language, like some rules, okay, that is past tense, present tense, future tense. Okay, so we are having some rules of it, that if you are talking in the past, then which we can say subject object we have to use, like that. Okay, then second, how to rearrange the phrase in the past tense or converting it to the future tense, right? So there are some rules and regulations. Okay, so these are created at the time of creating the English language. Okay, so same thing is here. Now we can compare the data types, that is primitive data types, with the alphabets of the language, like A to Z. We know that we are having the 26 alphabets in our English language, right? So in the same way, we are having basic data types in our C language. Okay, so which are the primitive data types? Okay, primitive means what? Which is a very basic. Okay, we cannot change the meaning of it. Okay, we cannot change the meaning of it, right? We cannot use, instead of alphabet A, we cannot use alphabet M. We cannot derive our new alphabet also. Okay, we cannot say that we are having 27 alphabets in the English language, right? We cannot derive our own. So A to Z alphabets are the primitive alphabets, that is primitive type of data. So here in this particular data types also, in this particular C language also, we are having some primitive data types and non-primitive data types. So primitive means at the time of creating a C language or any of the language, the basic things that is created is this primitive data types, that is integer, character, float, boolean. Okay, these are the things. Okay, so this primitive data type is divided into the two things, that is Boolean and the numeric. So Boolean means here in terms of Boolean we can say that it will return us the true or the false value. Okay, then numeric. So here the numeric, it contains the two types, that is first one is character and second is integral. Okay, so this is the integral. So in the character, okay, this is character. The short form of writing this data type character is char, char. Okay, then integral part is getting divided into the two parts, that is integer and the floating point. So here integer is getting divided into the four parts, that is first is byte. Byte, it is going to occupy only the one byte is of 8 bits. Okay, one byte is of 8 bits. Okay, so if we are going to store the data of 8 bits, so we are going to call it as a byte, right, in terms of the computers or the memory allocations. Okay, then after that we are having the things, that is short. Okay, then integer and then long. Okay, so we can say that integer is an integer type of data, it is going to be stored. Okay, so if byte, if you are talking about the byte, it is going to be store only the 8 bits of data. Okay, then short int means this integer is come up with a data type, that is short int. Okay, then if yeah, we are, if the, it depends, it totally depends on the range of that particular number, that what is the range of that number, accordingly we are going to use this integer, that is short int, long int, or byte, or simply int. Okay, so we'll come further for, we are going to see that what are the how much space and what is the range of this data types. Okay, then this is the first part, that is integer. So if to denote the integer, we are going to use this int. Okay, then after that integral. Integral is nothing but the floating point. Second part is a floating point, that is float and double. Okay, it is divided into the two parts. First is float and second is double. So as I already told you, so float, for floating point of data types, we are going to use the float keyword. Okay, and if this, it totally depend on the size, that how much data we are going to store, then what is the range of that particular number, okay, decimal point number. So it's depending on it, we are going to use the float or double, right? Okay, now these are the primitive data types. Okay, these are the primitive data types. Now by using this primitive data types, a language has created some new data types. Okay, so that's why we are going to call it as a non-primitive data types. Why? Because why we are using this primitive data types, and we are creating by using this we are creating a new data types. Okay, so that's why we are going to call it as a non-primitive. Okay, so here non-primitive data types contain string. Okay, so this string is getting created by using this character. Okay, so for example, if I want to write my name, so my full name is Sneha Ghode. Okay, if I'm going to store it in a character, so I can store only the Sneha, but I have to store the more, that is Sneha Ghode programming YouTube channel, right? So for that, here with including the spaces and all, we are going to use the whole string. We are going to call it as a string. A particular sentence we have to store, so at that time we are going to use the string data type. Okay, then array. Okay, if I am going to use this integer data type, I can store only the one number in one variable. Okay, one number in one variable. But if you are talking about the array, you can store the multiple numbers in one array. Okay, you can store multiple numbers in one array. Okay, so these are some the non-primitive data types. So hope you are clear with this thing, that is what is a data type, what are the primitive data types, and what are the non-primitive data types. So basically, if you are aware about the primitive data types, easily you can understand the non-primitive data types also. Okay, so let's have a look. Here we are going to see what are the default values of this data types and what is the size of this data types. Okay, so as I told that booleans is going to be deal with the trues and false. Okay, so here the size of it is 1 bit. Okay, see, 1 bit only, it is not, we are not talking about the bytes. Okay, 1 byte is equal to 8 bit. Okay, 1 byte is equal to 8 bit. So here only the 1 bit of data we are going to, 1 bit of memory we are going to use to store the boolean. Okay, so it is going to be defined, it is going to be hold only the 1 bit of memory locations. Okay, then character. So here you can see this in between this single quotes, this is what the 0000 underscore u, this is the default value of the memory location. Okay, so here the character, the default value of this character. Now default means what, we can say default means by default, before storing any of the value, it is going to be hold some of the number or some of the value, that is nothing but a default value. Okay, so instead of keeping it as an empty, because the empty memory location can hold the garbage values, that is garbage value means the random values, right? So from being very clear with it, we are going to store this default values. Okay, so it is of the size of it is 2 bytes. Okay, character data type is going to be hold the 2 bytes. Then byte, here 1 byte is equal to 8 bit, and 8 bit is equal to 1 byte. So byte 0, short is again 0, it is going to be occupy 2 bytes of memory. Integer is going to occupy 8 bytes of memory. Then long is going to be occupy 8 bytes of memory. Okay, then float is going to be occupy 4 bytes of memory, and double is going to occupy 8 bytes of memory. Okay, now you can see the difference. This is a simple integer is going to be occupy 4 bytes, right? So the half of it we are going to say the short. Okay, so the short int is going to occupy 4 bytes and the long int is going to be occupy 8 bytes. Okay, so we should know about this integer, then you can easily find out the size of this. Okay, in the examination you can get the questions like if some data types will be given to you and they will going to ask that in this particular program what how much memory it is going to be occupied. Okay, how much memory is required to store the data. So we'll see this type of problems. Okay, so for solving this, you should know what is the size of the integer, character, float, double, or all of the data types. Okay, so basically, I would like to tell you one thing here. The integer is of 1 byte. It is going to be stored the 1 byte only. If you are talking as we have learned, okay, but if we are going to see the updated C language, okay, so according to that now the character is going to be occupy 2 bytes of memory locations. Okay, 2 bytes of memory locations. Okay, so you have to be very clear with it that you have to use the 1 byte or 2 byte. Okay, I'll let you know in the next slides. Okay, so here this is what the long, then float. Okay, so see here it is going to be denoted by 0L. Okay, it means that we can say that it is a long integer. Okay, now as I told you that float is going to be contains this decimal points of data, so it is denoted by 0.0f. F is for the float. Okay, and double is for the D is for the double. Okay, so now here also you can see I told you that only the default, that is the size differences here. It is going to be contain the 4 bytes of data and double is going to be the difference is of 8 bytes. Okay, we'll see further why it is going to be differ from 4 byte to 8 bytes. Okay, to storing these types of data. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone that data types, what are the data types and what are the default size of this data types. Okay, so you can note it down and yeah, just to revise it frequently, that if anyone is going to ask you that how much memory is going to be occupied by the integer data type, you should know, you should directly say that 4 bytes. Okay, so just repeat. Okay, then here we are going to see the ranges also. Okay, what are the ranges of the data type? Okay, so here first byte range is minus 128 to 127. Okay, so the size in bytes is 1 byte. Okay, and that's why we are going to say simply a byte. Okay, then minus 128 to 127, positive 127. Okay, then short 2 bytes, the range is from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Okay, so these are the 2 bytes, this is the range. Okay, the next integer 4 bytes is yeah guys, this much of value. Okay, then here for the long 8 bytes will be from this to this. Okay, then for float 4 bytes approximately plus minus 3.40. Okay, E means here more values will also be there. So 6 to 7 significant decimal digits, Java implements IEEE 754 standards. Okay, and here 15 significant decimal digits. Okay, so from here itself you can see the difference. Okay, so why the size of float is differ from the size of double if they are going to store the same decimal type of values. So here you can see that this simply it is mentioned that 6 to 7 significant decimal digits means after point. Okay, after point, like for 7 point. Okay, 7 point. Here 6 to 7 significant decimal digits are going to be acceptable. Okay, if 8, 9, 10 or 11, like that. Any means greater than 8 decimal digits are going to become, then we are going to store it in this double part. Okay, so here 7 point till 15 decimal digits, the data can be stored in the double. Okay, that's why the size of the double is double than the float. Okay, yeah. Now here character, it is going to occupy the 2 bytes, and it is, yeah, obviously it is unsigned, right? Because character cannot be of any sign. A cannot be have any sign, right? B cannot be have any sign. So yes, definitely it is a unsigned. It cannot be a positive, it cannot be a negative. Okay, then boolean not precisely defined, but it is going to be considered in the range of true and false. Okay, you may have learned this in the DCFM. Okay, digital logic circuits. Okay, there is true and false, and gate, or gate, right? So and this is what we are going to, it is going to return as the value of the true and the false. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone. What are the data type ranges? Okay, let's move forward now. Variables. Okay, so this is a very interesting things. Okay. Okay, first of all, we are going to take an example, that is of mobile phone. You are having a mobile phone, right? And you are going to save the numbers of your relatives, your friends and all in that particular mobile phone, right? So how you are going to find out that which number is of which person? Yes, by naming them, right? See, we are going to save that by naming them. So by just searching the name of that particular person, you are able to get, or you are able to access the number of that particular person. You can directly call and you can talk, right? So what is variable? Variable is a name to that memory location where your data is getting stored. Okay, so basically this variable is going to be work like a container. Okay, so this is a container where your mobile number is stored. Okay, now how to access this mobile number? If you are not saving this by using the name, and there are n number of numbers, and you cannot remind that which number is for which person. So for making it easy, we are giving a name to it. Okay, for example, X. X is a name to this particular memory location. So we are going to call it as a variable. Okay, now here, the first of all, we are going to ask that which type of data is stored in this particular memory or in this particular variable? Mobile number, right? So mobile number is of integer data type. So here we are going to, while declaring it, we are going to write down integer X. Okay, integer X, that is integer type of data is getting stored in this particular memory location. Okay, now this particular memory location will also have some address. Okay, memory address. By using that memory address, also we can get the data. Okay, but every time we don't know that if you are going to save any of the number. Do you know that in our mobile, at which physical memory, that memory location, that your mobile number is getting stored, right? So and the memory locations are in the hexadecimal form. Okay, and this is a very big number, so you cannot remind all the time that what is the memory location, that is a hexadecimal number. Okay, so that's why to make it easy, we are going to use the variables. So simple thing here, that variable are working as a container used to store the data values. Okay, like number, characters, okay, any of the string, right? Then floating type of data, double type of data. Okay, so here in this in C, there are different type of variable defined with a different keywords. For example, yes, integer, float and character. Okay, so these are our primitive data types. So you can create your own variable also. Yeah, yes, the C language is having a power to create a your user defined variable also. Okay, as we will see, as we'll move further, we'll see all these things also, that how we are going to how we are able to define the variable. Okay, so here store the integer, that is a whole number without decimal, such as 123 or minus 123. Okay, then store the floating point number, such as with the decimals, such as 19.99 or minus 19.99. Then single characters, such as capital A, small a. Okay, character values surrounded by the single quotes. Okay, so whenever we are going to define this character, we have to use this single quotes. Okay, so to declare it, it is a character value. Okay, so to differentiate it, right? Okay, so hope you are clear with the variable. What is a variable? Variable is a container used for storing the data values. Okay, okay, let's move. Now, variable declaration. How we are going to do the variable declaration? To create a variable, specify the type and assign it a value. So, here what is the syntax? First, type, which type of data you are going to store. Is it an integer? Is it a character? Is it a float? Okay. Then, what is the name of the variable? Okay, yeah, you can give any of the name to the variable except the keywords like int, char, float, then void, printf, scanf. Except this type of variable, this type of keywords or predefined keywords, we cannot use that keywords in the declaring the variable or here. Okay, we'll further see that what are the rules for declaring the variables also. And here equal to the value. Okay, so whatever the value you want to store, you can declare over here. And yes, always we have to terminate the line with this semicolon. This is very important, or else the C compiler will throw the error. Okay, here the example: create a variable called my name of type int and assign the value 15 to it. Okay, so here what is the name of our variable? My name is the name of our variable. Okay, then here which value we have to assign? 15 value we have to assign. Now tell me that what is the type of, which type of data it is? It is the integer type of data, right? Great. So it is an integer type of data. That's why here we are declaring this my name is going to be stored only the integer type of data, right? Okay, great. So this is the declaration, that is variable declaration. Okay, if you want to store any float type of data, here you have to mention the float. Here you have to use the 15 point something. Okay, we'll see. Now here you can see this is the memory location 15. Name to that memory location is my name, and this is the we can say address. Okay, so here I have to take the random address. I hadn't took any of the hexadecimal. Okay, just for understanding purpose I have used this 1000. Okay, right? Okay, now variable declaration of the integer. See, int a, what we are doing here, we are declaring the variable. Okay, here we haven't initialized. Here in this example you can see we have initialized the data also, that is 15 is going to be stored, but here we are simply declaring, see, integer a and semicolon. Okay, so we are just declaring that we are having one integer type of data, that is, see, the a is a memory a is the variable to access this particular data. For example, it is having a memory location 1786. Now we are initializing this data, so now a is equal to 10, means the 10 is going to be stored over here in this variable memory location e. So this is nothing. This is the difference between the declaration and the initialization. Okay. Initialization we are going to do by using the equal to sign. Now you can write it down in the one line also, right? In the one line also, that's in a previous slide we have used that integer a is equal, how we can write it down, like integer a is equal to 10. So variable declaration and the initialization in one line. But if you want to do it in a different lines, means you are not getting the data, means you are not initializing the data, you are getting the data from the user at the time, simply you have to do the declaration. There is no need of initialization. Okay, so how much size this a variable is going to be, how much memory location is going to be occupied with by this memory location a, that is 4 bytes, and can take both positive and the negative integers, right? Hope this is also clear for everyone. Okay, then variable declaration of the float. So here float b. Okay, so here one memory location of b, how much data it is going to be, how much memory location it is going to be occupied? 4 bytes, right? Because it is a float type. Okay, then initialization b is equal to 10.456 f, right? It is a floating point, so that's why here they have written in the memory we have stored 10.456 f. Okay, this f is going to be denote that it is a floating type of data. So it is going to be occupied 4 bytes, and it is also going to be take the both positive and the negative integers, right? Now what is the difference between the float and the double, right? We have seen the precision 6 decimal places for the float. Okay, and it can take any of the positive and the negative values. Okay, so example is given here, that is c is equal to 259.598. okay, so in the memory location, how the value is going to be stored? First of all, c, so it is a double, it is going to be sorry, yeah, difference now, float. Okay, so float is going to be contain 4 bytes, precision 6 decimal, and for the double 8 bytes and precision 15 decimal places, can take both positive and the negative values. And example is how the data is going to be stored. Now see here, 15 decimal places. See, after point 1 2 3 4 5 6, right, and after point 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, right, 15 decimal. Okay, hope you are able to understand the difference, why float is why the double is going to be occupy 8 bytes of data, right? So see, the basic difference is here only of precision. Here it can be anything. Okay, here it can be anything, but after point, if the 15 decimal, if the number is bigger number is coming, so this type, in this way the data is going to be stored. Now you should know when to use float, when to use double. Okay, now if you are talking about any round of value, okay, if you need the accurate exact answer, for example, if we are calculating the things for the satellite, okay, yeah, if we are sending any satellite, so we should know that at which projection and at how much speed, and that at which point that satellite is going to be hit the sun or moon, right? So we need the exact answer. For calculating the exact answer, here one decimal point is also going to be mattered. At that time we are going to use this double data type. Okay, if it is not going to be matter, only you need 5 you need 2 or 3 decimals, right? So at that time you can use the float data type. Okay, so it's totally depends on the question that how much exact answer you need. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone. Then variable declaration of the characters. Now the character A is equal to yes, that is, yeah, I already told you, you have to declare the characters in the single quotes. Okay, so first one is yes is nothing but the alphabet. Okay, you can declare the character number in also a number as a character also, but anything you are going to declare in this quotes, single quotes, will be considered as a character. Okay, so we can use this special symbols as a characters, we can use the numbers as a character, we can use the alphabets as a character. This one rule only, that is character, to make it as a character you have to use single quotes. Okay, data should be in the single quotes. So here character is going to be occupied 2 bytes of data, and yes, question mark, okay, that is special symbol, anything in a single quotes is stored as the character. Okay, great. Now hope this is clear for everyone that what are the data types, how we are going to declare the data types, how we are going to initialize the data types, right? What is data type? Data type is nothing but which type of data is going to be stored by the variable. To know that, we have declared, we have to declare the data types, right? Then second thing is variable. What is variable? Variable is a name given to the particular memory location which is going to be store the data. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone. Just like, comment, share and subscribe. If you want to know more, just stay tuned. Thank you. Here we are going to end now. Okay, yeah, just keep supporting. In the next video we are going to see the program, that how we are going to declare the data types and variables on a compiler, and how we are going to execute it. And yes, we are going to see the what are the rules and regulations to you to which type, how to declare the variable also. Okay, yes, thank you, have a great day.